The 16-7 loss to Falls on Inferno. And then Imperial, well, they got owned by Spirit 16-6 on Dust 2 to kick off the day. But then they beat liquid on Inferno, right? So that's what's kind of selling me on Imperial a little bit more. liquid, in my mind, were coming into this event as a safe bet.
And you know me, Chad, I am a sucker for a storyline. And not only did we get Astralis Vitality and Vitality shaking off and beating off, well, maybe hopefully not, Astralis, but also we got to see Fallen, the guy who did get chewed up and spat out by Team Liquid, rising to the ranks and rising through the power to actually take them down a peg at the major, no less. So yeah, that's a storyline in itself. You can put yourself in his shoes. You know that felt good, and I wonder how much that will be a boon and bolster the confidence coming into today. 1-1 for both of these squads. We're ready to get this pistol underway. Someone's about to win their first pistol of the major.
Yeah, well, let's see who can buck that trend. Fur's in, highest rated player so far for Imperial in this event. And he wants to take a fight here, aggressively posturing as the rest of his teammates are elsewhere. So playing a retake setup, VINI, they're just sitting on back, but they've given up the B bomb site. In they go, the bomb will go down for free. They've stuck the wrong site here, unfortunately, and I don't know if the penny's dropped for rigoN just yet. No, oh, there you go, it has the bomb planted, now they know.
Okay, 4 over to the respond to the retake. VINI Fallen, still standing, forcing back the Jen. Nice placement of the bullet from rigoN. And it isn't falling apart at the seams for Imperial, though the bomb is down. This late flank from VINI is everything. If bolts could just delay, maybe there's something to be said. They've only found one, though, and their suspicions will be drawn on the defuse with the
look at the mob.
And a bit of a mob kill for security.
Okay, well, there's a bit of an odd one to kick things off right there. Able to get into the site for free, plant the bomb, all that posturing over towards A, the fact that Fur's just run on in, not getting any kills, and then rigoN still being able to pivot across in time. It looked like they were done for with this one here, so FNX just not ready for that little maneuver from rigoN there. Both players, I think, getting a bit of a rude shock, and then the USP is doing what they do best. A couple of lovely little taps in the TK for good measure. I mentioned Fur was the highest rated player for Imperial so far. Synopsy on the other side, who's currently sitting at -1 with that TK, has been the highest rated for VINI within their first 2 best of ones. Scaff smoke coming on down there and kind of limits the avenue that they're able to push on up here. So with the scout in hand of Fallen, they will just wait this one out. Up and over to the top of Scaff with the M4 in hand, ready to take some fights, and that's one of the keys for VINI. Wanted to take those biffs in those battles. The smoke this time redeployed a little bit deeper here, and GX actually needs to be careful about this. There's some shots coming on through, a little bit of light damage done. Just jostling for position right now, and well, VINI, they don't want any more of a look in here. The Zahu one-way smoke to be dropped.
Yeah, and they surely have at least outlined and understood as to what that smoke usually indicates. VINI's being very hesitant. Yeah, just going to jiggle it out. Calls the blast, Synopsy cleared out. Oh, and that's a connection from Fallen. Hard to find. A well sought after frag from the scout. flatroo wants to contest it. They got 2 rifles to fight for ramp. Imperial with this force, a nice find onto the scout. Fallen punished for his overextension. Oh, look at that nerdy.
Yeah, so many. They've used 4 smokes right now to defend this ramp. There is 1 remaining, but as that finally fades, they're going to relinquish control and making their way up the ramp with all 4 right now. It is going to be an A finish, 25 seconds on the clock here.
Good flash. They might want to take fights off that. Good adjustment, but FNX good on the Khalil. Imperial, they're very imposing, very threatening presence.
Bomb stalled out here.
GXX struggling. Bomb to be going down. 5 seconds.
Desperate.
Just have to knock him off.
That's it.
And that should be it. 2-2. Just need the frag, and VINI just has to watch as the time does transpire, getting away. Imperial, it felt like they had so much to play with there.
Very jarring stuff. Scenario with that push is very desperate in that moment, but if he is able to get away with exactly that maneuver, it's going to secure them the round. It's going to pick them up a nice biff against that force buying, blanking Imperial, denying the plant, making sure that this next round of play is going to be an interesting one. Now, that was a great shot from Fallen to kick things on off, but it was curious to see how much smoke VINI wanted to use to continue to contain this ramp control. They dedicated a lot of resources, and look at this. It's actually Imperial going into a force buy again. So back in with the buys. Scout again looking for damage. 2 of which this time round. 1 for VINI, 1 for Fallen, and they want to take the fight. Just walking on out, both getting chipped away at. VINI's in the grave early.
Yeah, it does seem like the Bad News Eagles want to brawl, and we're getting high evidence of that. Look at flatroo. Look at the time in which he's here staring into the rotate. It's just going to be a Tech 9, a Mac 10, and make it just that Mac 10. Fur likely to be cleared, and not going down without a fight. One and done. But that's the 3-0 conversion, and you feel like you blink and you might have missed it. You can see the frags distribution very light on. Imperial with a grand total of 4 frags in that 3-0 conversion. It's good to see GXX, who wasn't having a high-flying performance yesterday, up against Force.
Yeah, that AWP on the T side of Inferno, it didn't feel like he could have any impact whatsoever with the way that Force were approaching that matchup right there. But this is a good start for BNE. The issue is that Imperial opted to force buy back-to-back rounds, so they won't get full guns out until round number 5. They've opted right here to limp on in again. Another scout, some upgraded pistols one more time, and back over towards A ramp. So very one-dimensional so far in their approach, seeing if they can make this A defensive lead. And as they step on out, they're greeted with bodies again. Flatro takes down VINI, the first to fall in consecutive rounds.
You can see that they really have geeked it out. They've got smokes. This is an odd one as well, but it should have enabled Synopsy to get a frag. Bolt keeps us interested. Now, no Kev for the majority, and that is going to cost them. You can see rigoN's having no issues here, and yeah, Fallen with his low HP is not long for this. Well, the next dynamic on the Tech 9. And a winnable scenario unfolds as weapons to be retrieved.
Flatro's low.
GXX has at least confirmed that there's no funny business going back to B, so all attention is drawn to the right place. His hope to cut noise and get a push, an inquisitive CT, and yeah, nice find. GXX, he's not waiting it out. Make sure he uses that element of surprise and builds into a 7th.
Now, this is the issue, right? And you can't critique Imperial too harshly with these early rounds because it's been 3 consecutive rounds with broken buys, forced buys. Like, this is the first time we're seeing them get out all the goodies and all the guns. The AKs for everybody, falling into the AWP. Sure, he's a little bit light on with util, but now they can actually put up a fight because so far it's just been Imperial waiting out the ramp smokes from the Eagles and them taking fights at will. So this is the chance. This is the change at round number 5. This game is about to get underway. It's a 2-man B lane out the gates early. That's very aggressive.
Yeah, but he's feeling himself, Chad. Like, let him go until he's cooled off. It might be VINI by force. Not happening. Another for the Indomitable. 8-0. Immortal and ouch.
More
yeah, one more of those.
They heard that.
My God, Flatro's surely dead. Tagged for 4 HP in the smoke. Wild spray from Fur gets nothing done, and Flatro at least will be another number on the board. They can maintain that man advantage. Deep smoke on the B side. It's going to keep FNX caged. Right into the crosshairs of Scenery. And it's actually Synopsy coming back for a look mid. Bolt has just passed that line drawn. On the re-peek, Synopsy looks away. Wow, okay, just trading places.
A bit like ships in the night right there. So, the low HP of FNX becoming a real issue in this man disadvantaged scenario. Setting up the crane one way, rigoN. A little bit aggressive behind this. It's just going to play behind the smoke. Maybe what sandbags creeping on up now. Running out of nades for this A finish. 2 mollies, smoke. That's the best they have to bolster for this attack.
Swing out, the bolts again, ready to receive. Imperial still yet to buck this trend. Fully geared up. FNX gifted the AWP to try and stay relevant. Flatro, no issues. Synopsy, he's just repelling the invaders. Imperial looking silly. And FNX, what's he supposed to do? Another impossible scenario dealt his way. First a 1v3, now a 1v3 with 9 HP, and that's the end of him. Not given over. A magnanimous donation?
Well, it could be a generation of
Maybe.
magnanimous individuals.
Well, we can only hope so.
Well, that would be kind, I imagine.
One would only hope so.
But yeah, looking at this start, it has just felt very limp, right? It's been very flat so far. Haven't seen too much action to get excited about. It was the pistol round where they were able to get in the site and plant over towards B, but the rest of it has just been exactly like this. The buy that is scarce of weapons. There's an AK for bolts this time round. A scout again in the hands of Fallen. Some Tech 9s for good measure. Ooh, copped a nade to the face right there. So Synopsy, he's gotten himself back to naught after that TK from the pistol. Let's see if he can finally add a kill on the board. And there it's going to be. Bullet to the back of the head. VINI's gone. Easy. Now he just needs to get away.
Well, a very effective angle, isn't it? Back turned. VINI none the wiser for him. It's a scout, no less.
Yeah, it's not effective.
Couldn't really do much with that, despite being close to the smoke.
Flatro's dead, surely.
Success, yeah, and GXX next. Close quarters on the AWP, good for it. That's 11-0 for him. The Eagles are flying, soaring through this defense. on a bit of a heater. Fallen, more scout than anything else, and the double nade to sandbags mid-round. rigoN just needs one, gets it. The bonus is there as well. He adjusts. Sefa see you later, Alligator. We go 6-0. BNO, yeah, that makes sense. They forced a timeout early out of Imperial because they've come with nothing here on this T side.
The discussion needs to be, guys, we've had one gun round. Like, that's all they need to do right now is understand that so far in this game, they have quite literally only had one gun round. It's not like they have been in threatening positions throughout these limp buys, these light buys. The fact that they're crippled in that department time and time again, it isn't making life easy. It's making life extremely difficult for them to get anything done here when you don't have the weaponry, you don't have the utility. And BNE are just happy to take these fights. They're staying consistently jarring as well over towards that short position, making sure that even when the execute comes in, there's a body or two to reside in that position to make the fights up short, up ramp, always a little bit more rough around the edges.
When you look at that roster of 5 as well, who is the space taker and maker? I mean,
for Imperial?
Yeah,
Fur.
It's got to be Fur.
It has to be Fur, right? He's the star of this team. I think as far as it goes for the contributions around him, you'd be looking a little bit more to the likes of VINI, which seems crazy to say, but VINI, I feel like his time of fury was cut short by no issues of his own.
No.
So I think VINI's definitely, especially on Vinferno, where we've seen him do some of his absolute best work, he can be a bit of a driving force for this team, and the util usage again, well, this time isn't actually going to get away with too much damage at all.
Just really looks, from the CT perspective, like they're getting to play their game right now. Like seeing JXX just go far off an AWP shot as they 3-stack A, and it's staying very dynamic. They've got a real finger on the pulse as to where Imperial's coming from. Shorts the fight, and damn, good night. rigoN tucked in tight. At the hands of VINI. Starting their crawl now. What is he up to? Pressure on the fade. Okay, he's going to get cheeky with it. Fallen's posted up, and he's ready.
Handled.
Imperial just need to close this round off, but GXX not to be stopped. 13-1 now, and he's lining up to delay that molly plan. Can't plan default now. It's a bit deep, a bit shy, and Sceneri caught out. All onto GXX. Low HP makes no difference with the AWP, and he's going to immediately extinguish. He's going to push through. He's playing some naughty Counter-Strike right now. Fallen should be set for it. Does post the second, and Imperial get there first off the back of that tack timeout.
Yeah, well, the fact that Imperial were able to get so much room this time round is an immediate changer. Before they were stalled on out by smokes, they were unable to press the issue. This time round, BNE not opting to hold that ramp the same way because they've just kind of waltzed on up and taken these fights. So really good stuff. The opening from VINI just as we speak his name, but Fur and Fallen also chipping in with a couple of crucial kills. Great stuff. And actually, in the 6-round or 7-round spread that we've had, we already see Synopsy down to just a deagle here. rigoN was light on. He required a drop as well. It didn't feel like they were under too much of a threat, but the cash, it tells a different story.
Oh, JXX should go down here. He's getting run down and sprayed as well. 25 HP as he bunny hops himself to safety. But that aggression cut short, and well, we are going to see a lot of that space in a similar vein taken again. It's only going to be Synopsy sandbags to try and maintain some essence of top ramp. Everyone's got a geeky flash for sure, haven't they?
Cheeky little jump underhand as always. Those make me get a little bit sweaty under the collar.
Yeah, Maui was telling me that the jump underhand requires a special bind.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I must be lacking that one from the config, it seems.
Or the jump left and right. You can't do one of those. Yeah, there's so many different ways in which they have a relevancy. So we've got a 2-man B setup.
Yeah, going in for the execute right here, right now.
Just off the fly nade. And it works out well. Sceneri actually does go down to it, but it's still GXX finding more and more contribution. 25 HP, entire site smoked, and he goes forward on it. He wants to sweep through. He could and is set for success here. A quick one onto Fallen. rigoN still there as well, pulling the trigger, and he is racking up the frags. VINI late mid.
What's he meant to do? 1-on-4 situation. The bomb's down on the side. They already know where he's coming from right here. AWP train. Nice shot from VINI. Needs to double up. Cannot get it. And VINI goes on down to the hands of rigoN there. So 7-1 scoreline continuing to get picked on up here. And look, we do have a commanding lead at this point in the game. It just depends if they're going to keep this up. Now, I remember there's been some conversation in the green room and points of times. People have been talking about the Eagles getting off to these flyers of starts and then cooling off a little bit. But right now, not looking like they're willing to be stopped just here. Back in to round number 9. There is a buyout for Imperial. It's going to be Galils for the likes of FNX and VINI, but they can get at least something a little bit more potent. Early nades on through. rigoN not going to be held at bay here. It just looks like the Eagles are constantly looking for fights, constantly looking for biffs. Playing around these smokes, playing for these fights as more mid-utility is being lined on up. Flash in the hands of Fall and ready to deploy. Flash and the go, and now a passive mid hold as they slink Dom past. GSX steps on out. He goes down, but the double up's there. rigoN saves the day.
Scenario smoke just to sow some seeds of doubt. rigoN default. It's Flatroo onto Fallen. Leaves already Imperial scratching their heads. It gets worse. Fur half health, bomb and alone. It's just a matter of time. A nice headshot to start, but way more required. rigoN double peeking. Synopsy unable to provide. That's the end of that. Caught staring at the walls. We go 8-1. And you can see that those good vibrations are right back in the BNE camp. Short-lived punishments up against fours, but seems like they're back to their certainly momentum-driven ways. They've come in hot, and Imperial are unable to cage them.
It's not like, just having a quick look at the opening kills as well, it's not like they're lacking opening kills. So in these first 9 rounds of play, 4 opening frags have gone in favor of Imperial. But you take a little bit of a look, you take a little bit of a look at how some of these later rounds are playing on out when the executes come in. BNE just are weaseling their way through smokes. They're making sure there's no room, no space. Pace change, fast A.
Yeah, very fast, and Synopsy will be punished. Quick one from Flatroo. Needed another. Fallen's Deagle enough to keep it competitive, but GXX may go unchecked. Oh, this is a dream with all of their pace. The multi-kill about to be set up for him. No one checking. Side of the head into the eardrum. He's handing out full ear piercings. 3 from GXX. A 4th on the agenda. VINI in retreat. And he will go down as well. 20-4. I will reiterate, GXX. Dominating there. Apologies if I sound a little out of sorts, getting everything sorted and tickety-boo here.
Yeah, they left this room in a mess yesterday, didn't they, old Harry and Hugo?
Just
they turned the place into a bloody tip.
Everywhere. Well, this already looks pretty bleak, my God.
Yeah, look, it is falling apart, and multiple ways around here at the moment. So 2 opening kills again. Look, that pace change faster towards A. They were able to thrive in the chaos, but you just can't deal with GXX, right? You talked about 21 kills for him now, just continuing to put up the pain. And this is the thing. In the best of ones we've covered, it always feels like one individual is stepping up like a beast. Fours yesterday had Norby doing it to BNE. Maybe GXX has been inspired by exactly that. Fallen now with the AWP, trying to be a thorn in the side. The 2 AKs of FNX and Bolts are just kind of left wanting a little bit more. They don't have space. They don't have numbers. They're light on nades already. Time is the only thing that they have in their favor right here for Imperial. It's almost hard to watch. You just keep finding them up ramp. You get the fight. CTs click quicker. It's not like what we saw at events yesterday, right? Where they immediately set the tone on the force bar with their pocket play, and then were able to play off that for the rest of the half here. Now they can walk on in. Oh, cool. That could have got really, really messy. Still can. GXX again. How many times will we say his name? This CT orb giving us a real demonstration. Fallen caught out on the cross back to the site. The orb maintained, and we go very much further and further in favor of those CTs. Yeah, this is the thing. I think at least 5 rounds now might be necessary for Imperial to try and make a game of this. And that's going to need 4 consecutive rounds to close the door on this first half of play. It's not feeling great out there, and they will be taking another tactical timeout just to have this conversation to see how they can change the tune. Look, you pointed it out last time they took the tactical timeout and they won the round, so maybe that's the key for every single round of success here. 100% of the time so far. Yeah, look, you can't argue with the numbers. No, indisputable. No stranger to arguments is Fur. Hot-headed. Usually the aggressive players are. Yeah, but he's more of a underspoken hot-headed individual, right? Exactly. You know, but look, Fur in his glory days was just an absolute monster with that aggression, right? He was one of these individuals who could get away with it time and time again, and was kind of a trendsetter in that variety. Obviously, we've had plenty of names in that category, but Fur kind of turned it into his domain. Those aggressive plays, just being the thorn in the side, such a prickly individual. When no one else was in the same capacity. That's another opening. Look how quickly it comes. We're still yet to see Imperial be able to just open up with an even equivalent exchange. They are looking to mix it up a little, though. And so are the CTs. This 2-man mid setup. If GXX does
Missed the shot, bait bolts into the swing, and that's an if. Hits it.
Yeah, he's not missing a lot, is he? 23 and 5 so far. Oh,
what a stark contrast from the yesterday. Vertigo.
What does this say, though, right? Does this say a lot about VINI? Does it say a lot about liquid? Does it say a lot about Imperial? Right? What do you start to take from this game?
Good question.
I know it's not over just yet. Maybe they bring it back. Maybe they have a shutout CT side too, right? We obviously have to wait and get that half play, but it's just not looking good even in the kill distribution here, right? It's looking very flat on VINI with 3, FNX with 3. 7 is the most for bolts.
But you know something is wrong when we have watched an AWP in 12 rounds. Essentially, he's averaging 2 kills a round, Chad. 24 frags in 12 rounds. And that doesn't happen unless there's some fundamental utility missing, right? Like when your T side is going through the flow state, you watch AWPers desperate to find a pick. You know, they spend the whole half staring at fading smokes, flashes, and cowering at the back of heaven.
Well, I just did some quick maths here. It's 25 kills in total for Imperial, and GXX has 24, right? So that one there kind of sets up the context, I think, of just how poorly this is going, or how well it's going for GXX and his boys. And again, I want to point out some of the keys here. The fact that Synopsy is comfortable to take that fight is pointing out exactly what you're saying, that the utility isn't there. In the previous round, VINI's jumping up ahead of that Nafany smoke to get scav control. And you'll even see teams dump a flash off that same wall to flash that angle to help them get on up. But some of their issues started very early in the game. They had 3 or 4 rounds consecutively where it was 4 spikes, right? After the pistol loss, it would get very, very awkward with that second round. And that was where Scenario pushed on through and got those 2 kills tonight. Scenario only has 4 kills. But when you put that in the context of the game and the impact that has now had on the flow and the way that Imperial have gone to their buys, that was a massive round.
Oh, yeah. Nice bit of space taken, though. And FNX does get a frag before rigoN activates, but activates he does. 3 kills, round 1. Bolts the late mid lurk. And that's the end of him. Yeah, VINI, I mean, they started on a heater and don't seem to have gotten off of it. 12 already. Imperial scratching their heads, still yet to see anyone take matters into their own hands for the Brazilian squad.
One of the conversations I was having with Devilwalk this morning in the green room was he was pointing out how much of a good opportunity this is for either of these teams to set themselves up in a 2-1 game, right? That now we get into the best of 3s. It's going to get a bit more difficult for everybody once they do get there, but it's a platform where if some other upset victories, or they might get favorably matched up against a team of the similar skill level, they could be slipping on through to the Legend stage. And for a team like VINI, right, this Cinderella story we're telling, this is it. This is what it's about, right? And I guess a team that knows exactly what that's like is Imperial once upon a time, right? When you think about this core, this team, you got to go back to the ZQKS days. And
kaboom.
Exactly, right? But that's where this whole Brazilian story kicked on off, and everybody loved it, right? Hearing about them sleeping on the mattress in the floor of a kitchen in America as they're boot camping, right? This is the sacrifice, the everyman story that people can relate to and understand. Well, there's an opening. There's a change. Is this a round?
It really has to be. You know, you've discussed the potential for... Ooh.
Yeah, I love this one.
This is nerdy, yeah. Nice to see Bolts has done his homework, but he does have to once again trifle with trouble. GXX has mid on lock, and Flatro's got himself a nice one onto Fallen.
How many different one-ways have we seen out of VINI over towards this round? I feel it's at least 6 different variations of one-ways, and try swinging on out into an AWP, perfectly placed, 25 for GXX
and
now.
He's already bounding off to the next point of call. It is going to be a B finish for Imperial, 40 seconds. Is there more from GXX as he has a career-high performance here at the Major? There is no better feeling against legendary Major attendees as well. FNX with his 100% Major win rate. Enters the site, and his teammates, good night, can't hit FNX on the second, but GXX has done his handy work. It's FNX's turn, good taps. Nade might find Flatroo, does evade nicely. Mantles up, process of elimination dictates something similar. Can they convert this opening kill? They did find Synopsy trying to change the back. Fur's good for it, Flatroo low HP for the clutch. Fur allowed to get out of there. Has the kit, but I mean a single bullet, a wallbang, he's just gonna hold it, surely. Surely that. Oh, okay, it's solved. Fur gets it done.
And we're having some fun as they will get their second round here. Looking down the line to get 3. Look, at this point, it almost feels like we're building the best of a bad situation. That's all we're kind of looking towards right now. But realistically speaking, this is feeling like it should be an open and shut case for VINI. they look a little bit more confident right now, at least in their approach throughout. These rounds have been very spotty for Imperial, obviously, by the fashion it's only 2. And here we go again. GXX, he gets the shot again, right? The flash. It's not there in time. VINI gives up his life. The bomb now dropped on the other side of the smoke. And well, they just have to run on through desperately here. flatroo standing, delivering. Doesn't need the silenced M4 for kills towards A-Ramp. He just wants to see ya.
My, oh my, I haven't seen a drubbing like this some time. Just losing these fights and taking them as well. I mean, these CTs, look at them. Charge, the cavalry does, and FNX with just the one. 13-2 on the half. Imperial really are silenced so far.
Almost the 30 for GXX in the first half. We had this with Norvi yesterday. He ended up getting there. So both of them maybe need to put in a little bit of extra work. Right? All right, boys, we want the 30 in the first half next time round.
Yeah, but I mean, it is worth highlighting, you know, Bad News Eagles are no stranger and not shy to celebrate. But you can see it's still a furrowed brow. It's still like, I think they also had a bit of a wake-up call yesterday of like, oh, it does feel horrible losing. I hate losing. Do you hate losing? Yeah, I hate losing. You know, I think that you have to have one of them, and now you can see even with a 13-2 first half, they're not leaping out, they're not ripping headsets off. This is a question of let's get 16 and then we can go down and talk about it.
I think if they win this pistol right here, right now, we might get a little bit of a pop-off, a preemptive pop-off, because if you're about to destroy Imperial like this, right, in a game, and once again, the context of setting you up in a 2-1 position, that is fantastic for either of these teams. And look at this little push through mid-4. Cheeky CTs of Imperial making their way downtown as just one man of Fer to oversee this A site. FNX, the point man, calling it clear. Fer taking some contact to hold them at bay. It is going to be out the flank right here, but the Glocks are coming.
If this flank works out, this could be a very, very avant-garde maneuver. They're going to be so fast on this flank. Fallen and FNX. While they're setting up their smokes, they have to time this right. And they have to click this head. Hard to track. They do strike. flatroo under scrutiny as they do commit to the side. Force forward. It's Fer with one. Nice click. Soneri keeps it level. A 4 versus 3. flatroo hears a lot of action on that ramp. He knows it's the full commit. And they can go B. They're going to try to. Fallen's already taken flatroo down, so it is just these two crossing CT. VINI has the line and a great shot. Clotheslines rigoN. A plant's great for the cash. Can he get it down in time? Oh, bit clunky. Might get run down here. Just enough time for the final 8. And he is eaten as well. Okay, well, Imperial actually with a very convincing pistol. Both teams will get their first pistol of this major.
I like that a lot right there. The fact that they did that as a group in mid, and then they could send a couple forward for the flank, they could send a couple back to help on towards the A site. And VINI, with that strategy that they were going for, you saw the deeper elevator smoke come out. They wanted to scale for full site control, which if more bodies survived, right, and you saw more players being able to scoot their way in through the Z hall back towards spawn, then maybe, just maybe, they could have made that daunting cross. But you could see how difficult it was. And the fact that Fer got one, that was some good shooting right there. One and then down. So he did a lot right there.
And he was the solo wave guy, right? So your job is to survive. He did that, never mind contributing late as well.
It's not going to be the force here from VINI. It's actually just a light purchase. So next round, 2,400, they will still be able to buy, but they're staying as threatening as they can without overspending, which is how most of us want to treat our Friday nights.
I do love this one, especially up against the pistols. There's lots of places your crosshair's going to be. It's not there. Oh, but flash. Fallen still fragged. It does go down to the P250, and now Bolts is away. Problem solved. And bomb loose.
Cavalry on the way here as well, and Fer will pick on out. One and almost the second here. They know he's in the smoke. VINI will get that one, and Imperial now starting to work on exactly what BNE did. Now, the thing is, BNE can take a couple more risks, I would say, with such a buffer of rounds. You can be a little bit more avant-garde in your approach, you get a little bit more aggressive, maybe take a couple of plays that you wouldn't do, right? And that's because they have this massive buffer.
But also, I mean, we've seen some of the performances from them already, like the entry fragging into B, Dust 2. You can just walk in and shoot heads.
Pop some heads,
that is kind of the BNE way. This is their T side. They did save their schmeckles in the second so as to come in with these AKs here. So 14, let's see what the game plan is. Can they find it now? Utility already cut away one. flatroo's down. It's through the flash and the push of VINI. Combined with that of Fallen. Another opening pick for Imperial. This is exactly what the comeback script would like to read.
Yeah, and one of the issues here is the similar as Imperial had issues with in the first half. They couldn't get the space. They would dump a lot of utility. Well, BNE have done exactly that. They have a smoke, 2 flashes, and a Molotov, and now they have to step on out into a Fer one-way. So we've seen this one before.
Yeah, fading now. Fallen for the jump peak. We'll be able to get that information. Both of them do get out of dodge.
They want to hang around.
He's dropping another one-way. or even just a ramp smoke towards Nafany's corner. That will not stop the crawl. GXX, wow, that was a quick headshot. Fur, however, keeps it level, keeps that two-man advantage, albeit two of them very low. Oh. Nice nade onto the backpack. Scenario down just a 34. You can see that the CTs are happy just to let them in now. You've given them more than enough space. Bolts could have lost his life there. Things very sketchy. All he has to do is sit and wait. You know the T's have got the door locked behind them.
This is a power position for rigoN, but he needs to push on in. He needs to usher this bomb to get planted right now.
All four of them coming in from the front. Just like that. The last to fall. Okay, Imperial up to 5. And only with the 1 casualty, so that's already good signs of life from them. All of that saving doesn't get you very far. Might be time for some deeks. BNE unable to get off to the immediate close, but still, to remind you, if you just tuned in, BNE, very few issues on their defense. GXX a big reason as to why, just felt like he could go anywhere and find impact. And now it might be Fallen's turn to give us a little example of how potent that CT orb can be. He's pulling it out, smoking ramp for his squad. You see some Deagles and Tech 9s in play. There could be some pace behind this. Careful, Fur. Good flash, completely blinded off. It's Flatroo to fall. Immediately, VINI just commanding respect and a double. Time for a fresh mag, still sticking around as he re-smokes. He's calling for backup and has gotten away, albeit scathed.
Well, everyone's dead, Alex. It's just rigoN right now, and I'm sure he's not too long for this world. Fur's going to walk on out, pick him on up, and the pace of these rounds. Okay, well, the comeback, it started. It has definitely started. Every single one of these that Imperial pick up, they're starting to believe a little bit more so. And the fact that they got blanked in that first half, they know that they can do the same, especially if this is the approach that BNE want to go with. Quick ramp plays, right? This is a bit more out of the pug realms. It's just the one-dimensional approach, right? We're not seeing a lot of pressure elsewhere on the map from either team. And that obviously can still develop throughout this half here for BNE. It's still very early stages, but Imperial just went towards A quite consistently. And now in the early stages, we're seeing almost the exact same thing out of the Eagles here. Timeout called, though, and we know how that went for Imperial in the first half. Let's see if the brain trust over there from the Eagles can come up with a bit of a solution to this problem. They have opted to get the AWP out in the hands of GXX, and that might be telling of a story that they'll be a little bit slower in a round like this, but still light on with util for a few members here. You've only got Synopsy with a smoke in hand, no flashes for rigoN. So that does tell that if they don't get away with their opening gambit or their opening move, if it is quick, they're going to have to do it with their bodies, and that's where the advantage starts to trickle on over towards Imperial.
So it's FNX that's been tasked with B, and that does seem to be off the back of the timeout, the call. Synopsy does have to try and sell this.
Yeah, they do have a lot of bodies over towards B lobby early here, right? So Bolts is backing up FNX towards the side. The util now to clear out close cubby. Didn't land perfectly that Molotov, but clear nonetheless. Flash forward, Fallen in mid, so they do have a good setup to deal with this right now.
Knife out, Brave up the stairs and mantling over. Nice flight path. Bolts is prepared, and Flatroo's his next victim. FNX and Bolts combine for a round-winning spray down. And that GXX orb contributing absolutely nothing. It's Scenario that at least cracks open one on that B defense. GXX responsible for any funny business from VINI. You can see considering it. Knife out towards that bridge. Back through T-spawn. They are going to try and disappear.
Yeah, if this was quite truly a game of who can get the most CT rounds, then we're going to be in for a long one. Because so far, the T halves, we're not seeing anything remotely competent, I would say, right?
Say it how it is.
Well,
it's true.
Because the thing is, like, if it's just going to be fast Counter-Strike, and it's coin tossy for both teams, especially with like ramp rushes like that. They were very rushed on that play, glued in extremely on the position of Bolts there. They weren't even considering the Tetris white box position that FNX was playing. He gets 2 kills with players not even looking his direction, and it feels. They've made the call from spawn, they go. If they don't get the entry, then the round doesn't work.
Something Devilwalk said, we were talking about the Vertigo B site just the other day, and something he said is that a lot of teams, you know, we're talking professionals or highly skilled competitive Counter-Strike players, still fall into that trap of thinking B is like a one-step maneuver, you know, throw smokes and swim. Yep. And yet we've saw a good example was ENCE, of course, very recently. Their new approach to B shows that it is a multi-step process. You know, you can take the first step towards those stairs, post up, boost up, and slowly crawl and establish that control through boosts and flashes. It's not necessarily been embodied here, but it is something that I found very interesting, that there is still there's still development to be had.
Yeah, there's layers definitely to this here, and I think the B bomb site is one that a lot of people would just go towards A into these constant executes that we see time and time again, but the map has more diversity to it than that for sure.
I suspect VINI is going to try this play again, and there is going to be a little tarp angle for GXX if he's particularly observant. Instead, fires off the shot. Hard one to hit. This is a boost. This is a good start, and it shouldn't get them very fast. Scenario gets out of there.
Right now, mid is the gap, right? You can see heavy lean towards B, heavy lean towards A. So there's a massive gap in mid, but by the time that they even work that out or go and try and search out that area of the map, it'll get closed on up, perfectly illustrated here. There's nothing going on. And VINI, you got to be very careful. I know you have bodyguards around the corner here, mate, but you don't want to give up your life. A deep smoke, a flash forward. Is there a push behind this?
Yeah, it feels like there could be. VINI postured, and Far is going to continue to barrage util into their safety. Happy with the off. God, he's playing with fire. GXX has missed a couple. 5 left in the mag. Deep smoke requires a flash to get the go. And you got 50 seconds, so soon enough, this 3-man setup falling with a nice flash to sweep through. Rinse and repeat on this sandbag spray, but here's the crawl now. Here they come. First been pulled off. It was just a deagle firing off shots. And look, back's a turn. Fallen left as well. The whole site open for business. It's just the sandbags. Fur, fortunately, good for it. It's rigoN and GXX that make a round out of this. Nice from Fallen. rigoN's deeg from way downtown keeps us glued to the screen. Bomb ticket, GXX another. Double on this AWP late, puts him onto the 30, and Imperial's defenses rumble here. Just like that. It was an odd one. You can see we cut to B, 1T, firing off a couple of shots, and it pulls a 2-man rotate to elevate.
Yeah, I think there was an extinguish over there towards the quad position, right? And that right there, normally when the Molotov's coming into that position, they've heavily rotated. It was just VINI left alone, and you can see as he pivots back towards the site to take the fight against them trying to push on in, he actually dies from GXX, and that right there is it all falling apart because VINI was the safety net in that scenario, but Imperial a little bit skittish, right? The fact that they were ready to rotate so quickly off of not a whole lot this time, and it was the time milked off the clock. So Eagles changed their approach. They actually took it a little bit slower, and speaking of slow, Fallen's nothing about that. He was aggressive until he wasn't.
Yeah, change of plans right at the last second. And rigoN, he has got some pep in the step. Fallen steps up and deletes. Flatroo, careful,
nice nade.
Son on his toes, knocks the boots off of him. FNX responsible for B, and watch GXX in a perfect angle. He's on that headshot, though it's hard to hit. Does so, though. Into first forehead, just clips it through the girder, and back turns, Scenari's down and out. So immediately they jostle back for control. Imperial remind us that this comeback is not just a pipe dream. Fur at the top of the scoreboard as well, for good reason.
That should tell you something, though, if you're BNA. You just played quick, and you got denied on heads-up duels. Imperial are no slouches. They can put the crosser in the right place and shoot you, right? They're doing that now. Fur up to 17, 14 for FNX, now 12 for Bolts. They're starting to mount in that category. And as that continues to build, right, they're going to get more and more confidence to make these plays. When BNE took some time off the clock, there was doubt, there was indecision, there was a little bit scary in the mid-round there for Imperial, right? So maybe it's back to the slower approach.
Yeah, I do think just keeping them guessing, keeping their comms, forcing some CT info plays.
Yeah, they tried to fake just there as well, but it was quick, right? And because it was so quick, well, you're kind of ready for that out the gates. And there's that same molly thrown on off, landing top of the scaff there, flushes them out, allows them to push on up, and they're putting aggression into this. Flatroo up and over, a battle against Fur, no one landing shots, still nothing dead.
Fur is so nimble, does go down. Flatroo actually manages to get himself out of that, does drop off, evades the shot. Fallen clears mid. Ooh, he spots out Synopsy, so presence middle and acknowledge, but still that 5-man squad kicking about for the Eagles. 3 CTs are available to defend this. The whole squad starting to now commit through those smokes. You've got
it's on VINI.
VINI again, this time delivers. It's 2, and rigoN now. Bomb and pressure. Molly will cancel that. He gets away at least unscathed. And with that smoke still up, it might entice him to go for it again, but it's Bolt here to deny. GXX has the bodyguard. Synopsy good for the headshot. Now the bomb's ticking. And a great shot out of Fallen for this retake. They've got kids, and they've got Venom ready to spit smoke onto the bomb. That will already get them a little defensive. GXX not ready for this. A fast short flank. It's FNX doing it all. The old boys. New tricks. FNX and Fallen take it.
That right there, you can see how desperate it was, how they've just had to push their way on through. The flank right there from FNX, it sealed the deal before the push on through with a knife in hand. And then grab another one, Imperial, just one more away from double digits. But VINI, that was not even a full investment, right? They had 2 AKs, they had 3 upgraded pistols. They didn't go all in, and they make it threatening here. This was the awkward duel to kick things off. Fur and Flatro going toe-to-toe. Running out of smokes on the site. Now, this is where, yeah, it gets very chaotic. You're right, that smoke lands on the bomb. And it's going to draw them out. It forces them to get stuck into the fight right there. They cannot just sit on back and respect it. Get back underway here. How far can Imperial really push the issue? Fallen's AWP, vision will be denied. Looking for a deeper angle, grabbing through the sandbags to fill the gap.
Love that from Fallen and FNX, seeing them unite again. It's certainly cathartic. The rock boost peak! rigoN takes down bolts. Oh, wow. They have got some tricks of their own, the Eagles.
That was cheeky. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's almost as hot as the run boost onto the double stack box on B. And there goes FNX. rigoN 2 from that boost. That's round defining. VINI may go uncleared. Oh, huge opportunity. He lets it slip. Butterfingers. And yeah, the Fallen and Fur duo now is completely disconnected. And 15 looms.
I want to say it might have to be a save, but I don't think they're going to let him get away with it here. rigoN now taking another. That's his 3rd in the round. And look, we've been singing the praises of GXX, but rigoN's been having a great game too. He's up to 24 kills. And looking for their 25th, as it is actually be Synopsy. He's going to knife him. He's 100% going to knife him. Of course, he is salt in the wound, knife in the back, body on the floor, and 15 rounds now for the Eagles. Just one more required. Looking good.
Yeah, stone-faced as well. You've got to stay stoic. They are in hot pursuit of it. They were reminded of how losing feels.
Yeah, but loss isn't good in Counter-Strike either, right?
No,
nobody wants in the loss column. Packet loss.
The worst. So just one round away. Some smiles creeping onto the faces, but it is still game time. You got to convert that lead you accrued in the first half. Responsible for early ramp info. Got nothing to report. The smoke's a little more effective than that of Imperial's opener, but look at he's getting a little more flirtatious with this aggressive smoke. If he times it right, he does right. Gets away completely. Scenari's managed to catch him just on the tail end of his mag. So a 4-on-4. But this is very much just a one-track T side going up the ramp as VINI comes down.
Oh, he's going to be behind 3 of them.
He's timed it so well.
Look at this.
Here's the pin.
Hello.
No one's looking. Double, make it triple. Beautiful from VINI. Round defining. It's only Synopsy, and look at the dink. That leaves Synopsy with very few options available to him. The bomb and all of his squad rumbled by a VINI flank, just catching a perfect timing. And I guess you could be critical, saying that when you got those 3 committed, you have question marks about Scaff. You just want someone taking a cursory glance. But those are the things that really do get ironed out just through the reps.
Yeah, here I think he's just looking to do a bit of damage right now in this part of the game, because you can see the cash left over right here. If he can take another gun, he's going to actually keep it light on for Imperial into the next round. Not to beat. Steps on out into Fallen's crosshair, and they will get to the double digits now. So this has actually been quite a valiant attempt as far as the comeback is concerned. Right, they've been grinding round after round. That first half of play, there was an odd chance or two, but realistically, we didn't see a lot out of the T half. And the same can be said for VINI. Right? They haven't had to win a whole lot of rounds here to get themselves up to 15 on this T side. But just one more away, plenty of cash to splash into another bite. No AWP to deal with, and a timeout taken to have a discussion. The notes are out, and that's always a good sign. Having a bit of a chit-chat about what strategies could be deployed. Has looked better when they've taken the pace out and waited out the util. When they, it's a bit more skew-if around the smokes. Everybody has a cheeky one way, it seems, of a different variety, and we've seen that get exploited time and time again by both of these squads over towards this A ramp on the CT side. We've noted that mid has also been left open from time to time here from Imperial throughout this CT crawl on back, so maybe that's something that the Eagles could try and look to exploit the gap of. rigoN had success there previously, so maybe send him back for a little bit more of a look on in.
It is crazy, the kill distribution. You've got 2 players, Synopsy and Scenari, 17 combined, everyone else over that.
Wow, yeah.
But a slow default, a likely outcome off the back of the timeout.
And 2 towards middle again, right?
Different approach.
Yeah, so it's a completely different look here.
do like the firing line structure. Here they come, flatroo and Synopsy. Testo and Synopsy, yeah, not prepared for an angle like that. 2, he reports, and flatroo immediately is going to just hit a bit of a pause, not really interested in much more.
Oh, he's ahead of that lurk smoke as well right there at mid. They know this is clear. And now that flatroo rescinds, they can actually be on high alert towards B, but FNX is going to need some help. So coming on back over, Bolts will be able to join the party. They're creeping on in.
No util, it's just going to have to be the bullets here. FNX has got a nice smoke to keep himself safe. Team Flash
good.
And yeah, it's going to be rigoN so vulnerable. The molly would be great here. He opts for the HE instead. And oh, stacknates, that works. Bolts got one, not the second. Scenario keeps us interested. You got 45 seconds, space taken onto B. GXX, a tight line held, will be able to punish VINI if he does toe this line. But as they cut noise and actually spread back out, they want to head to A. flatroo's going to get very inquisitive, just loudly stampeding to get the CT's feet over there. And
he's pulled 2.
Done it. This is where they have the advantage over Imperial.
They can just creep on in and get the bomb down now for free. Scenario just has to cross. He just has to get past this line of sight. Once the bomb goes down, now that sound cue's going to be given up. But out of position are Imperial. The 3-on-3. flatroo's coming back in as the last linchpin of all of this.
Could be the final round here. 3 kills away, 3 clicks. Scenario, oh, he steps a bit far. Fallen's got a way back in. They're grouped up. It's flatroo and GXX. A good smoke used, and now pressure is on. Fallen ahead of the pack. GXX does connect. Fallen down. It's up to VINI. Looking to come up clutch, and he does. Hits it just on the fake, and flatroo with that half health finishes what Bolts started. We go again.
Nice clutch there from VINI, keeping a minute. You can see the headsets were off there. I think really under the pump right now are Imperial, but they keep it alive. They keep it going, and yeah, relief, I think, for VINI to keep them in a round like that. It was the Scenario in the coal mine there, getting a little bit overzealous, finding himself all the info, but none of the kills. GXX and flatroo trying to the best they can, but that gap in the smoke, right? If you're flatroo, you're not expecting it to be grey screen just like that. A good find from VINI, picks up the AWP, and Fallen can be very happy to have that back in his hands.
What a recovery. I mean, when I saw flatroo pull 2 on the 3v3 rotate, that's should be a marker for the last round of play, but a great retake. Down to a 1v1, comes up clutch with 1v2. flatroo extinguished. He is going to fight for control.
Oh.
Whoa, rigoN. Bit windy today.
He was in it, yeah.
Someone needs to close the window.
Oh, all right, that's a window closed or a window open.
Sometimes you have to close the door to open a window.
Big scalp to find, that's fur. Man on campus towards A, Fallen and VINI here still to combine. Mid's the gap right now, bomb. You can still see loose down towards the lower deck. Needs to be scooped on up and carried on forward. Util, light on, smoke, couple of flashes. That's all they have to execute with. If Fallen oversteps the line, his Scenario, he just hit a banger. Can he find another? This will be to get him to the double digis.
He's got that in his wheelhouse. Oh, not today. Fallen. Pulls us back. 4v3. Advantage Imperial. As this comeback has been hanging on by just a thread. Flash with the short side. This is all on flatroo. Oh, bodyguarded nicely. VINI. Comfortable in this position. Is where he's got a lot of his fragging done. Bolts will be there as well to contribute from way downtown, and it is just GXX. He was supposed to be the overwatch from Sandbags. Now, probably just looking to clutch and hold on to that AWP. As VINI. Bolts is foolish enough to give him anything else.
Here comes Fallen. Should be in the side of the head any second now. He might even get on past here, but walking to his grave. Look at this. FNX has closed the door. There's no way back. He's just going to have to reside down to that fork room. And if he goes down after time, we're starting to get into some real issues. Imperial are making this comeback work. It just feels like a matter of time, or at least it has until BNE would close this one out. He's even going to be given the good graces to keep the AWP up. So that's actually a gift from the gods right there. Imperial feeling very generous in that one right there. And are they going to close? Because it is starting to get a little bit sketchy. We've got our A-Stream update. Spirit taking on Eternal Fire, 12-9. Another close one. This one feels a bit more tit for tat than ours. This is about Imperial with a massive comeback, and they've been showing form.
Battle of the Dragons over there on Stream A.
Well, they have this AWP, right? You want to allow it to work here, but with the pistols and the MAC-10, it tells me they're going to be going a little bit quicker. It's a pace change.
Yeah, let's see what the util does to stop and cage them. Fur's actually done it with bullets. So blind, though, he has been run down. It's a big find, but look at the nade damage. They do take a big chunk out of Scenario and flatroo.
Look at this gap. Look at this gap.
It's
He's
a
in.
huge
He's
one.
in. He's all the way in.
Of them. Okay.
Now
He's
he's
so
cut
deep.
noise.
Oh my
FNX.
god, no way.
Ooh, okay, that's a huge headshot. Synopsy's got the B site and the M4 pushed up. If Bolt goes down, he's done it again. Synopsy, the lurk to close. And the last two scamper over to get that bomb down. Fallen loudly into CT. It's VINI through Ellie. And GXX has got CT on lock, and so do the BNE. Bad news, Eagles get some good news today. 2-1, and now best of threes for the last two attempts.
Yeah, well, there's the pop-up. There's the smiles on the faces right there. Got a little bit sweaty, didn't it? Imperial really brought this one back, but that was a commanding first half. They looked dominant. You didn't really see too much hope right there out of the T side of Imperial.